Welcome to episode 60 of the Chi-Town Shoot Wrestling Podcast. I'm Marcin, and joining me in the squared circle are Chris and David. We're coming at you from the heart of the wrestling world, Chicago, Illinois, bringing you the latest news, hottest takes, and all things WWE and AEW. If you have questions or thoughts, send them over to chitownshootpodcast@gmail.com. Without further ado, gents, how's it going? It's been quite a while. I feel like, well, not too much of a while. I feel like we had an official podcast back in May, or not May.
Damn,
early
it's been that
June.
long.
It's been like early June. We had a watch along. We watched The King of the Ring. So if folks have been sticking along with us, it's not like we disappeared completely. That's been like maybe 2 weeks ago. So, but an actual podcast episode, it's been a little bit. But Chris, what's new with you? What's been going on since early June?
Peak heat. It feels very crescendo in July. July feels very like the peak of stuff for me, I feel overall. With all sorts of aspects. But overall good. Really hot, but really good.
Really hot? You staying cool?
Staying cold with this hot coffee right here.
Oh man, you gotta. It's not. What is that?
Caramel
venti?
macchiato. We got the venti. You get anything smaller
Girl,
than a
it's
venti
9
at
p.m.
Starbucks?
It's 9 p.m., bitch.
Man, I've been babying this thing since like 7 o'clock.
Oh man. Well then, yeah, I guess so. If you spread that out. David, how about you? What's new with you? It's been a little bit since we were chatting. You know what? We did a stream, but yeah, it's been a bit.
There's nothing.
If we have specific podcast audience members, maybe they don't.
We're needy bitches. We love seeing each other. I saw you yesterday. I'm gonna ask you again.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We want to keep people updated day to day. Nothing new?
Not too much, dude. Just chilling, bro.
Living the dream.
We were just talking about the AEW All Out pay-per-view that is coming to Chicago. With Chicago, like as a city, we're spoiled for wrestling dates, wrestling
Yeah.
pay-per-views. Every single company apparently loves to show up around the same time. We had Monday Night Raw that I didn't personally want to spend the money on, and then they started promoting it as it was basically like a Night of Champions 2.0. They had some of the titles defended at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia, and then they had a bunch of other titles defended on Monday Night Raw. And surprise, surprise, CM Punk returns to take Cody Rhodes'
The
place.
You taking that
and
Shaq nap?
defeat Sami Zayn to be the new undisputed WWE champion. So it's not part of the segment, but this is from Chicago. He had a purple eye. What do you guys, or black eye? What do you guys think about CM Punk being the new undisputed WWE champion?
Can you hear me, brother?
Wait,
I think it's cool.
was that purple eye? Was that real, or was that like? Did he feel like that's funny because MJF did like the Hogan thing? I'm sure a bunch of people probably sent him a picture in his DMs about being WrestleMania 9 Hogan. He didn't like just paint a black eye to look like Hogan.
I think he got a shiner for real.
Damn. And Cody Rhodes, I think, had one too, or was that one also painted?
They said we're gonna be
I don't
matching
know.
tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought
But, yeah.
I honestly thought like there's no way they would, but then I'm like, well, who else would it be? And it makes the most sense if you're gonna do it in Chicago. Like the only fit, ultimately, I think, without the crowd being completely disappointed, was gonna be Punk. So, but the
That's
fact that
true.
he-
But you
that
said
he won it.
you said who else could it be? But they could have not done any of that. They could have just had Sami Zayn be the WWE champion, but
Could have
they
been
gave
Chris
him a
Jericho.
week.
Chris Jericho. Could have been Chris
Yeah, it could
Jericho
have been
coming
Chris
out of that
Jericho
box.
out of a giant
Great.
coffin.
Could have been Chris Jericho walking outside of that garage door.
Could have
And
been
you know what?
Enzo.
And Danhausen didn't show up in Chicago, did he? They didn't have any backstage segment or anything on Raw.
Nope.
That's interesting. Do you feel like maybe they thought like, oh man, like he got cheered initially and then he got booed. Let's not like try and voodoo or like get some bad juju on Danhausen before Saturday night's main event
No,
and not put
we don't
Dan.
deserve them.
Honestly, yes. And I wasn't there, so I can say, yeah, we didn't deserve him. I wasn't there. I don't care.
Yeah. We don't deserve him. We booed him last time he was here.
It's
Don't
true.
deserve him.
Well, me and David cheered at Elimination Chamber, and I feel like he got a pop, but then he got booed afterwards for sure, because people were expecting Jericho or something. I don't know what they were.
I know our section was like, "Whoa, where's Jericho? Who's
Yeah.
this guy?"
Yeah, but we also I feel like we had like just some casuals and like I felt like
casual.
the energy I was like outputting was not matched with people in our section.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know what that deal is. I feel like if you're putting that much, okay, I guess if you're spending your own money and that much money, you can do whatever you want. I guess you can stick a thumb in your ass and enjoy Elimination Chamber. But like,
No.
I personally feel like if you're putting that much money in because you want to see an event, like, wouldn't you want to enjoy yourself and just start cheering or something? You know, like
Watching it like tennis.
yeah, like no, you're watching like you're on TV, like you're watching TV, you know, like then sit at home and watch it. Like, why do you spend all that money just to? Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it personally, but it's been very eventful all week. We mentioned that CM Punk is the new WWE champion, and apparently he's facing CM Punk at SummerSlam. You know what?
Oh, yeah.
I did mention the CM Punk thing. What do you guys think about Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk? I mean, I don't think that's been an actual match before, so I think that's exciting, and I feel like you don't want to prolong something like that either because they're both getting older. You might as well do it while they are in their peak performance. I mean, CM Punk's looking the best he's looked in ever. What do you think about Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk at SummerSlam?
I mean, hopefully the build is good. But they both cut a pretty decent promo. I imagine the build until SummerSlam should be solid. I guess we'll see. Wait, they're on SmackDown now, technically.
They're currently on SmackDown, and they have 3 more SmackDowns as of this recording to sell their match to the audience. Yes. Because it's on August 1st and 2nd.
Yeah, honestly, they just need one solid promo off. Like one good kind of thing to kind of make it work. And then just the loose ends they got to tie up towards the end. Contract signing, whatever.
And there have been seeds planted before. Like they have interacted before on the road to WrestleMania, and there were like those moments of like, man, that would be if they just switched out, you know, Punk or Cody for the other guy. I forgot who was facing who, but like they did have chemistry and it was intriguing. So to have that opportunity now, and then like people, you know, talked about how SmackDown was being kind of stale. I think this injected some new life into it. And with this, also paired with Trick Williams' new shag rug looking United States Championship, which can I say is pretty amazing in terms of like a custom belt. Like he had a spinner, but yeah, like have you seen like a shag rug belt before? I don't know. I haven't personally.
No.
Yeah, where do you guys compare? Where do you guys compare like the shag rug belt to like a spinner belt and stuff? Like where does that rank for you as a custom belt?
Hopefully he keeps it long enough for it to mean something.
Yeah, I mean honestly, like I feel like, and also because they put it on WWEshop.com, you can't have him drop this title when you just debuted that thing, you know. And I think I think I was reading the article; it was like $600. Something like that, or 700. I mean, obviously, it's a giant.
Fanatics got Afterpay.
Yeah, they got a big bump on that shit. But I think that it looked pretty sick. I thought that was great. in the way that they introduced it. Like everyone had like different color, like belts, like it's the same leather but a different color. But like, how about the material? Like now it looks like a couch cushion. It's kind of cool.
Looking like Santa Claus's hoo-ha.
Well, it matches his coat. His matches his it's not a coat. It's like
robe.
what do you call it? Trench. Yeah, it's a trench coat. It's like a giant trench coat. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But anyway, back to the news. So there's been a lot of things going on. In addition, like I said, to the WWE Undisputed Championship changing hands, and that includes Sheamus departing WWE. It's been making the rounds for a week and some change now, and Booker T discussed Sheamus and his departure from WWE on his Hall of Fame podcast. Fightful Select reported that Sheamus is set to leave WWE when his contract expires. There is not any motion to maintain that contract. Sheamus also rejected a restructured extension with the company. And Booker T on his podcast talked about the news and reminded fans that there is a life expectancy in every business. So this is what Booker said. He said, "What did I say about talent in the WWE just about a month or so ago? I said, man, we're in a different time now. It ain't like it was back in the day when it was the Attitude Era, when you think guys are going to be around for 100 years. When I hear the term lifer, people say, oh, well, I thought he was going to be a lifer. What the hell does that really mean in a job? When you work at a job, what does that really mean? I mean, does anybody expect any basketball player to stay on the team forever? How many football players stay on the team forever? One, maybe still be coaching, you know what I mean? Assistant coach. He'll keep that job for the remainder of his life until he retires. How many actually do that? How many people like myself who have been in the wrestling business for 35 years go from wrestler to commentator? There's not that many. There's a life expectancy in everything. And I've heard these podcasters, people talk like us, I guess, people talking about how this could be a problem. Sheamus is 48 years old, okay? Sheamus started in the WWE in 2007 in the FCW program, Florida Championship Wrestling. He started on the main roster in 2009, and the guy's had a damn near 20-year career as a professional wrestler in one company. So Booker proceeded to dismiss the notion that WWE is the quote-unquote bad guy in the situation. So he went on to say, someone like Sheamus, four-time world champion, he's put in his work. The thing is, if Sheamus left WWE, he can still go ahead and make money and still do his thing for however many more years he actually wants to do it, if he actually wants to do it. When I hear people literally trying to make WWE the bad guy when somebody gets released, laid off, or fired, that happens in any corporation. It really does. So what do you guys think about that? How do you think about, what do you feel? What's that?
It's true. I mean, any sport, none of these players probably go past, I don't know. What do you think? 5 years solid?
For
Something
sport?
like that. For like a season or just like their prime or going past their prime. You know what I
Maybe
mean?
two contracts.
I mean, I feel like they switch teams and stuff. I mean, there's drafts and things. I think an average athlete probably gets 15. If they start super young, I feel like you could get up to 20 years, like pushing 40 for some of them. Like,
but like when
if
we
I'm
say
thinking
young,
like football, yeah.
16, 17, 18, I should say like 18, 19 years old, something like that.
What?
In like drafting, like let's just say basketball or something like that.
Most of those kids will be 19 when they start.
Yeah.
They'll stay with the team for their first 5 years, 4 or 5 years. If they're lucky, and then either they go somewhere else or stay with that team.
Yeah. So,
And then after
yeah.
that, then they're usually extremely likely to go somewhere else.
What do you think about David? That the comments that Booker T said, Sheamus leaving. What immediate thoughts come to your mind?
I mean, he's a lifer. He did it for a
He,
lifetime.
yeah,
Like it's cool to leave. It's all right. Like if he ends up just a dude that doesn't wrestle ever again and just does one-offs and only shows up in WWE, it's like
or
congrats.
AEW, or I mean, he could
Yeah.
also be, like he could be a producer. I mean, I don't see like why they wouldn't want to use him in a different capacity.
I mean, if he
You
goes to
know,
AEW, he's gonna make some great money. And like, I mean, to me, he's a lifer. I don't think WWE's necessarily the bad guy. All of these guys are used to a different guy cutting the check.
yeah,
All the ones that are leaving too are just used to a different dude cutting the check. And it's like, yeah, Vince took care of people that probably shouldn't have been on the payroll, but that's just like that's what happens when you're a public company ran by one man who
that's
ran it when it
true.
was private.
But even during Vince's era, before they were purchased by TKO, there were still seasonal cuts. Like after WrestleMania or around the spring season, there were still people who were cut from the roster, like Deuce and Domino, who debuted in
Yeah.
like 2007, 2008 or whatever. They stuck around for like a year, 2 years and some change, and then they were let go. And there were plenty of other people. Enzo, he wasn't during the TKO, merger. Like he got let go, I mean, for specific reasons, but like there were it's not like it's a uniquely TKO problem, and I feel like it is the uh popular thing to paint them in a specific way. And that's not to say that TKO is without fault. I think there are certain things that they do that I think suck. Like ticket prices are much higher. I don't think that's fair. Maybe it
Yeah,
is, maybe it's fair for like
you
market
jack
value or
up the
whatever.
prices, but you can't pay New Day or Sheamus. Come on.
Right, exactly. So that's the thing. It's like your prices go up, but then you can't afford having these some people, some of these people. So that sucks. I think for me, it like the concept of like, oh, they're letting go. How dare they? I think that part, I'm like, this isn't new. It's more nuanced than that.
Yep.
It's like the other actions that TKO does. Like I said, the ticket prices, and then not saying you can't afford to have people like that on your roster. That's where I have a problem. So Booker T explicitly questioned that being a lifer, what being a lifer even means in modern wrestling. So, with Sheamus likely leaving after nearly 20 years, Chris, do you agree that we're in an era where nobody stays in one place forever, or are there still a select few who will never cross enemy lines?
I feel like you'll never see Shawn Michaels in an AEW setting. So guys like that, I would say there are company loyalists, but I think everybody else more or less understands that there's more opportunity than there ever has been with AEW. You got TNA and all these other things that are popping up, or even like having some viability on the indie scene and making money that way because guys like Matt Cardona and anybody else who's kind of been running the indie scene and making yourself profitable there, marketing yourself. So I would say I think the opportunities are just greater now than they ever have been, or to make money as a pro wrestler. I would say the lifer is a lot more rare than it has been in the past.
David, same question. The concept of a lifer, what do you think? Do you think that's still a thing in today's day and age?
I think so. We also haven't got had to the opportunity yet to like see certain people do make decisions when they actually like retire or like don't want to be on TV but do want to be like producers and things because we we still haven't seen like uh I want to say like the dudes in their 40s like what they decide to do. And it's like, yeah, some of them are gonna go to NXT, but it's like, how many of them can go to NXT before NXT is full? Say you could go AAA. How long is that before that's full or Evolve? So you don't stay if you don't stay in the WWE system. like plenty to do in AEW.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's only, I mean, I was gonna say there's only so much space. I mean, there's a lot more space. There's a lot more real estate in WWE now with the amount of different brands and shows that they own. You know, AAA,
Right.
like you mentioned, you can be on NXT. Like Natalia is, she bounces around, right? Like she does like GCW and all those kinds of things, and she had a program with Maxine for a little bit, taught her the ropes, was a mentor, and now they kind of used her in NXT as an enhancement talent. So, you know, people like that, there's a spot for them. And I mean, again, I think it's a limited spot because not everybody can be in the position. There's only so many programs that you can do. And you can't have every single like young wrestler be like, oh, young wrestler with older talent. I mean, even though like I feel like in Japan there's a lot of that the Joshi and like the senpai and the student
Yeah.
storyline, but I feel like in American wrestling you can't only do so much. You can't have every single storyline have that be the dynamic. So there's limited space in a WWE setting. But yeah, I mean it expanded, but there can only be so much. I mean, with Sheamus, I feel like, and again, like some of these guys, you know, you can be on contract and then show up to have a stint. You have an Intercontinental Championship run, or like Rey Mysterio. I mean, Rey Mysterio is, man. I mean, would you consider him a lifer, even though he had that spot where he was at All In technically? Does that break up the lifer
Kind of.
status?
I don't think so.
Do you remember what was that like period there? Was he like he wasn't released, was he? Or was he?
Uh, he didn't renew.
He didn't renew. Okay, maybe that's what it was. Yeah.
He didn't renew in like 2014, 15.
And then
I
he
think
was
it was
gone
after
for a bit.
15. He got surgery. He showed up in New Japan. He did Lucha Underground.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, he had a little bit of a side quest, but then he came back to WWE, and then I don't know. I feel like it'd be weird for them to let Rey Mysterio go. Although I guess I would have said the same thing
I don't
about
think they ever
Sheamus.
would.
Yeah. Especially because now I feel like with Rey Mysterio, I feel like just having those ties to Luchador,
Yeah.
and having AAA, it's harder to let someone like that go than a Sheamus from like a value perspective. But I want you guys to like um, I kind of want to talk about Sheamus as a wrestler and just kind of think back about all of his accomplishments and what you think of Sheamus as a wrestler in like the almost 20 years that he's been in the WWE. He's a four-time world champion and he's basically been a staple in WWE since about 2009. If this is truly the end of his WWE run, how do you think history will remember the Celtic Warriors legacy?
Jack of all trades. I feel like he was a guy who was willing to be put in various roles on the card because he was at the top for a little bit, then he was a mid carder for a while. He was kind of jobber territory for a bit. I feel like he's very versatile or was versatile.
Was
Kind of.
he in the Legion?
The
They
League
tried
of
to put every
Nations.
single like the League of Nations. Thank you. Yeah, they were like, let's put every person who is an American in one group, and they're like, I call you the League of Nations.
Yep, exactly. The Bar, good tag team.
David, how about you? Where do you feel? How will you remember him as and his legacy in WWE?
I think he'll be remembered as like an ass kicker of his time. Think, and then like as time goes on, think he'll be remembered more and more for that.
Yeah.
Just like beating Daniel Bryan, cashing in on Roman, his stuff with like Gunther and Drew McIntyre, ton of the Bar, like the Bar beat New Day.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
like, I feel like for me, his first WWE Championship run is like what will stick in my mind when I think he was in facing John Cena. It was like it was at the TLC pay-per-view. So just like starting basically, what was it? Yeah, it was basically the same year that he debuted. He won his first WWE Championship, which I think is something they should do with Obafemi, by the way. But yeah, I mean, just that in 2009 when he won his first title, his Intercontinental Championship runs, just being a consistent workhorse and just having like really good matches, whether he's like at the bottom of the card or he's in the Intercontinental Championship title picture, especially like recently when he was actually on TV, his stuff with Gunther and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that guy is like, I feel like people don't understand how much work goes into like a match to make someone look good. Like I feel like it's such an underrated thing and people don't appreciate enough, you know? Like I feel like The Rock and people like that who are really good on the mic and stuff, sometimes you forget um how integral it is, how much of a skill it is to put on a match like Sheamus puts on matches. So it's one thing that I know Drew McIntyre said banger after banger, and he said it's more like burger after burger because he had a bit of
Burger
a gut.
after burger after burger.
But man, like all that stuff, I feel like really stuck out in my mind, and just like what a freaking workhorse, man.
Beaker?
So yeah, yeah, Beaker. I mean, that was the other thing that they called him.
Didn't they actually have
So
Beaker on like they had like the Muppets or
yes, they had
something? They
like the
did a
Muppet, yeah, the Muppets. I think they actually had him take a picture with Beaker because they're like, "Hey, you guys look pretty close. Let's take a picture for the gram."
Cousins.
So at 48 years old, Sheamus apparently turned down WWE's restructured contract offer. Do you feel like WWE is undervaluing someone like Sheamus who can absolutely still go at a high level, or do you feel like WWE's making a smart decision, like a corporate decision based on, you know, we want more younger people? What do you think? I mean, it's like the same vein of like R-Truth, right? Like they let him go, and then people got upset. I don't think that people are going to do the same thing for Sheamus, but what do you think about the decision?
I mean they probably just looked at the like, okay, we have all this young talent that's, that some potential, some mileage, and Sheamus, probably just backtracking on what he's done so far. Um, they're like, okay, well, there's no point in keeping somebody like this around because, like, where are we gonna put him, or and depending on how much he was asking contract wise, it might have not made sense based on the return on investment they would get from
Yeah.
him at this point in his career. Like, he's not putting butts in seats, so to speak, like somebody like a CM Punk who's older or at least just as old as Sheamus or somebody like that, right?
He's pretty close, yeah.
So
But I think there's more like there's like I mean controversy. It's like a lot of more lore that goes with CM Punk that is more profitable that people gravitate towards for whatever reason. I don't know what, everyone has a different reason and explanation, but yeah, I mean they're basically the same age, but they don't see the same value. But David, yeah, same thing. Like, what do you think? Do you feel like it's a smart decision on WWE's part, or or how do you feel about them just doing this?
New management. They're just gonna do like I guess that's just what they're gonna do. I mean, like if you think about it, if it's a restructured deal, it's just less than what you're used to, right?
Yeah.
For what we know, and then I'm not gonna look any deeper than that, and then take it just as that.
Right.
And it's like, okay, dude, like we don't really have plans for you, but you still want to be around. Okay, here's the money you could get for just being around. That doesn't work for you. It's all love. Like think it's fine if he's gonna have a career in AEW. Let him go be with Cesaro. Like he'll do just fine there if he wants to still make the money he used to make and barely be on TV. Like AEW is a great place to do that. If he wants to be on TV, welcome to the Blackpool Combat Club, or
Yeah. I guess that's
League of
my next
Nations
question.
2.0.
Where, like, after he leaves WWE, where do you think he would fit best? Is it a AEW? Is it a New Japan? Is it a TNA?
I think he'd do great in AEW. He's that type of he puts on those type of matches like he can fight like really stiff.
Yeah.
And like if it's gonna be like an ass kicking contest, then it's like him just doing a quick run over to New Japan. While under AEW, he's got a 133 third chance of winning. So
Yeah.
might as well go to New Japan. Might as well go to Japan as under AEW's payroll.
I agree. I mean, I feel like they share talent all the time, but I don't know, Chris or Cass over there, what do you guys think about Sheamus? Like where would you see him after WWE? Do you feel I feel like he's probably not gonna rest on his laurels yet. I mean, at 47, I don't think he wants to be retired and just, shooting the shit in his backyard. Where do you think he fits?
You look at, he definitely would fit in AEW because I'm sure he looks at Chris Jericho and be like, you know what, I could see myself going past 50 and doing this. You know what I mean? Like I think he still has gas in the tank, and he can be with Cesaro, which I think the crowd would pop for having them interact.
Yeah, I mean Cesaro, Claudio Castagnoli,
Twist
Max,
The Bar versus Edge and Christian, The Bar versus the Bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential, unlimited
The
potential.
Bar versus FTR.
Whether
I
it's
guess
looking like WCW or the big boys play or not, like, you know what? They should just lean into that.
If you can make a compelling product, and like regardless of what age these guys are, I don't think people care.
Yeah.
I think if it's only older guys, sure. I think if you have a mix of them, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And if you can make a compelling main event with guys who are in their 40s, I personally don't care. And that's my current evolved position. Maybe it'll change so people don't clip me and think I'm a hypocrite.
Screenshotted, clipped.
But that's where my head's at right now. But I think that's a great segue. Speaking of older wrestlers, Kenny Omega beat MJF on AEW Beach Break to be the AEW World Champion. And I think it's his second, only second AEW Championship run, which is pretty freaking crazy. Although we'll get into it a little bit with like his injuries and all that kind of stuff. But Kenny Omega is back on top of the mountain. So he closed out the July 8th episode of AEW Dynamite, where MJF was defending his AEW World Championship against Kenny Omega, and the stipulation was if Omega lost, he could never challenge for the world title again. And Omega, which was a great match, by the way, it was definitely like I always watch like, the podcast guys, and of course, Meltzer, he always slobs on their knob, but I will agree it was probably one of the best matches of the year. And yeah, I mean, the stipulation was if Omega lost, he would never challenge for the world title again. Omega defeated MJF to capture the championship for the second time, which is crazy. And afterward, Kenny Omega took to X and wrote, "After 1,698 days of waiting to get it back, we finished the race. Thank you for never giving up on me and always believing in me one more time." And then MJF tweeted the meme photo of Omega, which is linked to a quote in which Omega jokingly said during an AEW talent meeting that he wouldn't have hired 80% of the talent in the room. And then Kenny Omega, responding to MJF, replied with the same photo. And Omega is scheduled to defend the AEW World Title against Will Ospreay at All In on August 30th in London at Wembley Stadium. So Kenny Omega gets his second World Title championship win. What a freaking match. He noted that it took 1,698 days to get the AEW World Championship back. Considering his injuries and the shifting landscape of AEW since his first title run, where do you feel like this specific title win ranks in terms of his career achievements? Where would you put it?
I would say it's significant because it is like that second AEW championship run for him. And then, I would have thought that a lot of people thought that maybe wouldn't have had another one, especially after his injury and stuff was winding down for him as far as like his career, so to speak. So I think it's significant. I don't know if I would rank it as high as like the New Japan stuff, as far as like his run in New Japan, but significant nonetheless for him. I think it's like a top 5, title run, I would say for sure. Yeah, I would say it's somewhere up. And I think him personally, he's probably winding down in his career right now based on these injuries. There's probably things that are just not being said necessarily. The quality of match that he expects himself to wrestle and all that kind of stuff. So personally, I think he's kind of place holding it for old Willie boy, but I don't know, maybe not.
Yeah, I mean some of the numbers just based on like the match being promoted. I mean, it's their highest rated show in 2 years. There's a number of shows where he is currently advertised where they're pretty close to selling out, and that's not always common with AEW in its current product and format. David, where do you rank this like title win in like his list of moments? What did you think of the match? Where do you think he goes from here? What are your thoughts?
I think it's probably if it's tough because he just won, but I think for his AEW career, I think it's the biggest thing he's done since lose the title the first time.
Do you guys remember when did he lose it exactly? Was it in 20? It wasn't in 2019 because he was one of the first champions, wasn't he?
It goes
Let me be the producer here.
Jericho him.
First AEW title match.
That was Jericho
Okay.
Hangman.
Yeah. Dun dun dun. In 2020, he beat Moxley at Winter is Coming on December 2nd, 2020. So it was like a year. It was like a year after AEW started, basically. He became the champ, but still like pretty freaking early. I mean, I guess they're still pretty young, right? They started in 2019 as a official product, and yeah, it's been 8 years or so. So this is his second championship win in 8 years, which is pretty crazy considering the kind of wrestler he is. So the stipulation was that if Omega lost, he could never challenge for the world title again. So as a viewer, did you actually think that MJF was going to retain the title, or did the stipulation make it feel a little predictable and you figured that Kenny Omega was going to win?
I felt Kenny was gonna win.
Me
Same.
too.
Yeah. I feel like if you say you can never challenge for the title again, like that, like you say that, I feel like it's just too much. too much there to like just completely just write off the fact that they could potentially ever challenge, because it doesn't make sense, especially for Kenny Omega being himself, being who he is, like not having him in the main event in some way, or like somewhere in that card would make no sense from a financial standpoint. Just based on even what you were saying, how like, oh, now people are, buying tickets to see, Kenny Omega being the champ at this point. So obviously he moves people that are fans of AEW. So
Yeah, I mean, like for Cody Rhodes though, like what was his situation because he wasn't able, or was it a personal like decision to not face for the title, or was it like a televised stipulation
It
where he
was a
said,
stipulation that he
yeah,
decided on himself.
right. So I mean, I guess there is a precedent, right? So it's not like they're like, oh well, they're going to put this on as a stipulation, so obviously he's going to not he's going to win it because why would he not face it again? But they did it with Cody Rhodes, right? So
Hangman too.
it's not like, it's not been a precedent in AEW's match history. So predictable. I think people were leaning more towards Kenny Omega winning because it's like, what, they're going to do it every time they do the stipulation. No one can ever face it again. So, I also thought that Kenny Omega was going to win the title. That's why I tuned in live because I was like, damn, that's a good match. I mean, the whole card, top to bottom, was actually really good. I always love when they do the whole beach break thing and they go to that arena or whatever you want to call it. Just good vibes. So Omega is scheduled to defend against Will Ospreay at All In on August 30th. Do you feel like it's a smart move to lock in this dream match immediately? Because I don't think it's happened before. Do you feel like it rushes Omega's second reign right out of the gate? Like, do you feel like he should do more title matches, defenses in between before he does a big match like Will Ospreay, or do you think it makes sense for them to be like, all right, here's your title, and now immediately your next title defense is Will Ospreay?
well, they did New Japan, and then they did Forbidden Door match, I think, didn't they?
Yeah, this is
The
their
first Forbidden
third
Door. Yeah. So yeah,
For the title?
well, it wasn't for the
for
title.
a title.
A title.
All right, well,
No.
I guess that's fair. What about this? So what about the question I posed?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, yeah, get it out of the way, make it happen, because it also just makes sense from a like where they're at. Because I don't know if, I mean, are they going to go back to London again in the next All In? You know what I mean?
I feel like for them, I mean, based on ticket sales, I mean, I guess it's like the law of diminishing returns. Like every time they keep going back to Wembley, it seems like there's been less and less tickets, but maybe this match between Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay at All In as a main event for the AEW Championship, which hasn't happened before, uh, is a ticket seller. I don't know,
not
but
in this capacity. Yeah, I mean,
I not in that not at a Wembley Stadium capacity. I don't think. I don't think they have
Tokyo
the.
Dome.
I don't know. I don't know, but I mean, I think it's going to be a great match. I think it's a great all-in main event. I think it's great. And I don't know if it's a branding issue, if it's ticket prices, or people around the globe are just feeling their wallets getting hit, regardless if it's WWE or AEW. But based on ticket sales so far, it isn't tracking as great. But that won't take away the fact that it'll be a great match. Um, but yeah, what do you guys think? So Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, who needs to win more at All In? So Kenny Omega cements his new era as champion, or is Ospreay taking the throne on AEW's grandest stage of them all?
I mean, my brain says will, my heart's me.
David?
Kenny.
I will also like to say Kenny Omega. I know that I feel like Tony Khan loves a hometown hero story. I think it's a great selling point, but I would like to see Kenny Omega hold on to the title longer. And again, these are just my intuitions. I have no evidence or proof of it, but Kenny Omega has been dealing with a number of injuries or diverticulitis, a bunch of issues. So I don't know how much he has in terms of endurance in dealing with this shit as a wrestler. You know, how many more title reigns is he going to have? That's why I would like for him to hold on to it a little longer than, you know, a month and a half or whatever it's going to be, you know. So I would like to hope. And also the numbers currently are showing that Kenny Omega puts butts in seats. So personally, I would love to see Kenny Omega retain at least through, I don't know, Double or Nothing. Let him hold it for a little bit, you know. And I feel like that MJF match demonstrated how you can put on a great match without like being a Darby Allin and going through like, you know, 6 glass tables or whatever the hell you want to do off a ladder. Like you can put on a great match without really risking your opponent. And I think Kenny Omega deserves it. So with that, we are going on to the main segment. We're all about the summer. All In is in August, and guess what else is in August? SummerSlam, baby. So I want to talk about SummerSlam moments that altered wrestling history. And there have been so many because SummerSlam has been around for over 35 years at this point. There have been so many moments, and I just want to talk about them. I just want to just have a conversation about our favorite SummerSlam moments, things that come to mind, and I have my own list. But if you guys have any specific moments, feel free to bring them up. But I did want to start off with a SummerSlam moment we're kind of chatting about earlier, and that is it was basically the launch of the Tribal Chief. This is basically Roman Reigns returning after I think he was gone for 5 months, probably due to COVID. This is during the infamous Thunderdome era. Everyone is at home playing Animal Crossing or Pokemon or something, minding their own business. And WWE, man, like if there was a industry that you know is stable, I think it's wrestling because if there's a pandemic, if you know, if there's an apocalypse, I think wrestling's always going to be there. And WWE somehow managed to adapt itself into the COVID pandemic era with their Thunderdome. But anyways, after a months-long hiatus, Roman Reigns returned at SummerSlam in 2020. He wrecked The Fiend, he wrecked Braun Strowman, and he basically started the pathway to the Bloodline era. So at this point, we had Roman Reigns. I mean, I think 2019 for Roman Reigns and the WWE at that point, the big dog, the dog food, all that stuff. There was a lot going where WWE, I felt, needed to look itself in the mirror and ask, what are we doing wrong? And AEW showed up right around that same time. Vince McMahon is now trying to figure out, well, shit, now people are looking at this product. And all these wrestlers in WWE are also trying to figure out, you know, how we can be better. I feel like a lot of this rested on Vince McMahon's shoulders. But anyway, we knew that Roman as a character at this point needed some kind of change, but I don't think anybody predicted the what 4 or 5 year run that Roman Reigns basically started at SummerSlam 2020, essentially carrying the entire company on his back for the next 4.5 to 5 years. I mean, what in terms of like the 2020s as a decade, from 2020 to 2026, what do you guys think? Is this one of the most impactful wrestling returns of the 2020s so far? We had Braun Strowman on SmackDown. Is it more impactful than Braun Strowman showing up on SmackDown?
I mean, is that a serious question?
Or not Braun Strowman, I mean Baron Corbin. Sorry, my bad. Baron Corbin. No, not a serious question. It was a joke. It was a gag. But what do you
Alright.
think? Roman Reigns, like, okay, like objectively, let's not put in Baron Corbin in there. Wrestling returns in 2020, and there were a lot of them. We had AJ Lee, we had CM Punk. I mean, there's been a lot, but like, like I'm talking like return, like reinvention, and basically defining, wrestling for the next 4 years. Like, is this what do you think in terms of Roman Reigns' impact at SummerSlam 2020 going forward? Where does it rank?
I mean, you can argue forever because I feel like there's going to be infinite amounts of versions of the bloodline at this point. So,
We're NWO now, baby. We
Top
got
three.
Wolfpack. We got Wolfpack 2.0. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's up there. It has to be up there. Top three, if not numero uno. Because like we're talking like, yeah, like an era from wrestling.
It's a dynasty.
Yeah.
It hired like family members and other people. It expanded to other, yeah, wrestlers in that family, and then it branched off to other sub stories that are still happening right now. We still have a bloodline, or my family tree, I guess, which is basically just bloodline 2.0. We still have the existing bloodline. It's 2026. It's basically been going on since 2020. Like think about, like let's take a step back. Let's take a breather and think about just that concept, like NWO, DX, all that stuff, and in terms of consistency, because DX, like 97, I don't know, 2000, I guess they were there, and then it was still like a break here and there. You want to say like 2002, maybe, like he was like fake getting together with Shawn Michaels. Then you all have that thing in 2002, and then not until 2006 you have like return. But it's like it's a different gravity, because even NWO and and Four Horsemen, all that kind of stuff, like just the consistency of 2020 until 2026, I feel like there's not a lot to compare, because it has not stopped since, like, there hasn't been a break from there. Like there's been something happening around the bloodline, someone tied to the bloodline that's just been in WWE's like storyline presence, right? Am I crazy?
I mean, they essentially set something up where you got kids in the pipeline ready to be the bloodline
Yeah, I
forever.
mean, kids in the
So,
play. I mean, like Trinity Fatu, The Rock, Cody Rhodes is tied into this shit. Fucking LA Knight has been in a bloodline storyline for like 3 years now. You know what I mean? Like it's just been.
feeding
It is
families.
part of the DNA. Yeah, no, it lit, like when Roman Reigns says that, and some people are like, "Oh, why is this a storyline? Oh, I'm feeding fam." Like it literally is feeding like families. Like it's giving people jobs. Like other people who are not related to the Anawai family. You know what I mean?
You're like, you're
So
Samoan, right? Hey, jump on in here.
all right, yeah, David, I want to hear your thoughts, because I just rambled on. But like, what do you think about, like, yeah, the whole sequence of like Roman Reigns 2020 payback, wins the title a week later? I mean, all that shit. Like, where as a SummerSlam moment, as, yeah, impact in WWE. What do you think?
I think we're getting to a point where it might end up being the most impactful thing to ever happen at a SummerSlam.
Yeah,
I mean, just like take like add to the how long his title reign was,
right.
like some more, like even with like bloodline stuff. It's like not only did they even tied loose ends of the past, like
Right, exactly. Like
yeah,
they were trying to reverse engineer some storyline threads to fit their ongoing story, which is
right.
smart, because I think people, and again, I'm one of them, I like to be invested in something that you as a product is actively trying to build this lore for me. I want to be invested in a match because I know that you are going to maintain that history that I'm invested in. You're not going to forget about it, like Vince McMahon's era, where they do this thing, they forget you. You are forced to forget about it, and then they just move on to the next thing and they act like nothing ever happened, or someone shows up from New Japan or whatever and Karrion Kross or Finn Balor show up as a different character, and you're supposed to pretend that everything that took place outside of WWE never happened. Like, that was crazy town. And
Right.
I thought that when I was watching it, and I think we are so spoiled now. I know that it can always be better. Like, I'm not saying be the same, but I think people are lacking some perspective about how different it is now in their storytelling and wrestling, um, writing and storytelling right now. Like, people are taking it for granted.
Right.
So yeah, that's me, old man yelling at clouds. But yeah. So, we all knew. So yeah, I mean, like, if Roman Reigns hadn't taken that time off in 2020 and, he came back earlier, or he came back when he was supposed to, do you guys feel like WWE would have ever pulled the trigger on a full heel turn? Or do you think they would keep forcing him to be a babyface? So maybe this is more a question for David, but and I guess this was because he felt like he didn't want to deal with COVID. But do you feel like if that didn't happen and he still had that baby face, persona, whatever you want to call it, maybe I'm calling it persona because I'm playing Persona, but do you feel like they would have actually pulled the trigger on the heel turn, or what do you think?
I think it wouldn't have worked if he came back anything of the same.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like in Heyman's Van Vliet interview, he talks about like how Vince still wanted to call Roman the big dog.
Oh yeah, I
And
remember
he's
that.
like, no, no, no.
Big
Ooh,
dog.
yeah, another one I want to plug. I mean, I didn't
Oh.
make it, but Stephanie McMahon, CM Punk, what's your story coming out on Monday? That's gonna be a good one. But yeah, I think this reminds me of the interview with Chris Van Fleet and Paul Heyman. Yeah, I mean, like, Vince McMahon was still thinking about making him being a big dog. So I feel like
Right.
if that gap of time where he wasn't there didn't happen, I think he still might not be what we currently see as the tribal chief. But yeah, so as we move on to the next SummerSlam moment, I do want to ask before we move on, where would you rank this in terms of character reinventions as the tribal chief in wrestling history? Do you feel like it is like Hollywood Hogan in '96 or Stone Cold '97, or where would you put it?
I mean, I would
In
say
between there.
yeah, it's definitely there. Somewhere in between that.
Because Austin was still a slow cook. Um, Roman was cooking, but it wasn't as slow. But it wasn't instant. Like when Hogan did that, it was instant.
Yes, like that wasn't something like people like, oh yeah, we saw some
He did it by
foreshadowing.
accident.
Yeah, it wasn't like Triple H, what they do a lot. They love to do like foreshadowing or things like when you're talking, when they have a promo and there's something happening in the background. Like,
Right.
I don't think WCW was doing that kind of foreshadowing with Hulk Hogan then. So I think personally that it has to be up there because like just for me, like, personally, like, interacting with a wrestling product, like watching it, and what impacts me the most, and Roman Reigns and the Bloodline is something that is like, it's up there. It's undeniable. I can't deny that, Roman Reigns and this whole era of his title reigns, and it's still going on, is impactful. It's got to be. Like, I would be foolish to not put it up there with Stone Cold or Hollywood Hogan. Is it better than them? I don't think so. I think Hogan and Stone Cold, in terms of like cultural zeitgeist, like outside, like mainstream stuff, I still feel like those were still more impactful in terms of like a mainstream appeal.
You could see them with Shaquille O'Neal.
Right, right. Like Roman Reigns, I mean, he's doing his thing. He's in a Street Fighter movie. He shows up at the Tonight Show, that kind of stuff. But I feel like when the audience was forced to watch only specific programming, I think Roman Reigns is more difficult because he's in an era where no one is forced to just watch TV at a specific time slot. When it was wrestling in the 90s, a lot of people had appointment television. Now you can you're looking at your phone while you're taking a shit. You know what I mean? Like you can see like entertainment at any time, any place. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And then there's certain things that guide you. Right, exactly. There's certain things that guide you that uh, can bring something into a specific zeitgeist. But then the thing is, in this era, is there's a lot of short attention span. So like you can have something that is incredibly tragic or amazing, and then people move on from it 3 days later, and then focus on something else. So like a Roman Reigns bloodline storyline has that up against them versus a Hogan or a Stone Cold Steve Austin. They had more of a captured audience. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's different. It's I feel like it's impactful, but I think there are different factors at play. So let's move on to some other ones. Chris, did you have any? You mentioned some before, but what SummerSlam moments kind of stuck out for you?
Booker T, Rock beating Booker T, 2001.
Yeah, what do you like about it?
That WCW, he's the first WWF WCW champion.
I mean, yeah, I mean that's the thing is like this is basically at the point where I feel like Vince McMahon is in his humiliate WCW era. He purchased WCW. He wants to make it known that his
Yeah.
product is the best.
This was invasion time.
And this, yeah, what better way than to give The Rock the title belt and, make Booker T look, I don't want to say look like a fool, but, like WWF, the homegrown guys are better than you. And it was a moment. I mean, I can't deny that, I think, I mean, the invasion storyline for what it was, I think a lot of people had a lot of issues with it because there were contracts that all the top guys that people wanted to see at the time were not there because of contracts that Kevin Nash and Hogan and all of them were like, I'm not going to work. Like, are you kidding me? I could run this shit out and get paid. I'm not going to show up on WWF television if I can just keep getting paid. And then, when it expired, then they showed up in 2002 or whatever it was, and Goldberg and all those people. So there was a lot to live up to. And I think Booker T during the invasion angle was one of the main faces of WCW. And it is what it is, but it was a moment.
Orton,
I'll say that.
and Redacted.
And Redacted. Yeah. And no, they were not. That's what that. I guess they were out. Were they out? Not outsiders, or were they outsiders? Benoit, Guerrero. What do they call them?
Radicals.
Radicals. Thank you. Yes,
They're
the
already
Radicals.
there.
Yeah, they weren't. They weren't
They
part of
didn't
the
deflect.
invasion. Yeah, they're like 2000, right? I think they're 2000.
Yeah, they were there already in, but no, when they did the whole invasion thing, some of them were injured, and then the others were just like,
Perry Saturn.
they're like, we want no parts of
Yeah.
WCW.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, Tribal Chief. We got the Booker T Rock SummerSlam moment. So here's another one that I wanted to bring up. Is and this one I remember. I don't know if you were watching during this time, David, but John Cena getting completely annihilated in SummerSlam 2014. So
Oh, yeah.
now I want people to have some context for this because John Cena during this time is literally like Cena wins LOL. So everything that he did around this time, like he's had some losses, but like the running gag was that he always wins. And Yeah, and in this match, Brock Lesnar hits 16 German suplexes on John Cena. Like there was not much of a fight. This was not like I'm getting the upper hand, and then he gets the upper hand, and then he gets the upper hand, and then there's a crescendo. There was none of that. The match started. John Cena got 16 German suplexes. And then this was, I think, for the World Heavyweight Championship. Um, I mean, I don't. Do you want to call it a squash? I guess.
Stop! He's already dead.
Yeah. I mean, I think in 2014, John Cena, Brock Lesnar, you would want to consider it a squash. And
Yamcha his ass.
it was literally like, I feel like that was even a conversation. Like the Yamcha crater meme was in the conversation. And I mean, in terms of a booking decision, pretty crazy. Like during that time, because Vince McMahon was very safe. He knew who his superhero was. He knew where his bread was buttered, and that was John Cena and all his different varieties of colored T-shirts. But David, Chris, what do you think? Squashing John Cena in such a definitive way in the 2010s. What do you think that was one of WWE's bravest booking decisions made in the 2010s, or do you feel like, in terms of like for Brock Lesnar anyway, because this is the thing, when Brock Lesnar then wins the title, who else, like, and he just squashed basically Superman. Like, does anyone else have a chance in hell to win the title from Brock Lesnar? Like, how do you feel the booking went with that match?
I feel like
Great long
2014.
term.
Yeah, well, maybe it was one of those moments where like Vince was like, "All right, they've been booing this guy for a while. Let's give the fans a little some, like just have
Yeah.
a squash fest, have him get beat the crap out of,
Yeah,
you know,
I want everyone
for a
going
change."
home silent.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean they did the Undertaker Brock Lesnar thing. That was a year before that, wasn't it? WrestleMania 30 was 2013, I think. So,
14.
they had the one shocker. Now they're like, all right, well, here you go. Here's another one. We're gonna make this guy turn into paste.
Fresh off beating the Undertaker, here comes
Yeah.
destroying John
Oh, you
Cena.
want some too?
Yeah. So what do you guys? How did you view John Cena then at that point? Do you feel like that made fans respect John Cena more because he was like, yeah, you know what? I'm down. I'm down to get German suplex 16 times and
Destroyed.
basically not put up a fight. Like, did that give you more respect to John Cena, or
Did
do you
for
guys
me.
remember what you thought?
I mean, I remember at that point being pretty sick of John Cena, 2014. Like,
Mhm.
this guy, like Punk left not that long. Or was it before 2014? He left in like 2013, something like that. Or is he still there?
I don't remember if
He
it was
left
23.
February of that SummerSlam.
Yeah, I think it was 2014, like January, February.
Yeah, so just a lot of like that weird bitterness that was kind of happening, the backstage politics and all that stuff. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, just knock this guy out. That feels pretty good right now. Like, I
Yeah, I
remember
feel like
feeling that.
I feel like I felt a certain way too, and just like I was all about the dirt sheets then, like reading about, CM Punk got fired on his wedding day, and all that stuff. So I definitely wasn't a fan of John Cena during this time for sure. It obviously changed later, and again, it's like if you're not being shoved down people's throats, and again, it's anything. If there's too much of anything, people get tired of it, and then you respect him because you know how much he's put into the business. I'm an adult now, it's been a lot. Um, I mean, yeah. What do you guys think? Like, if you were booking that match, do you feel like Cena should have gotten more offense into it? Or do you think it should have been a squash match like that?
It was great. It invented
Perfect.
Suplex City,
Perfection. Michael
Yeah, that's true.
Fassbender. Perfection.
which
That's true.
solidified it.
That's true. All right. Well, I got it. David, did you have any other SummerSlam moments? I do have like
TLC
4.
won.
TLC 1. What year is that? 2001? I don't recall. What did you like about TLC 1? What
Super.
feelings come to mind?
just being super excited, not knowing what the hell is gonna happen.
Crazy shit.
Yeah,
Crazy
really,
shit going on.
car crash guaranteed.
Car Crash TV.
Yeah,
Yeah, TLC 1 was really good. And you know what else was right around that same time was Shawn Michaels returning in SummerSlam of 2002. One thing that I feel like a lot of people didn't think was going to happen, and he technically retired in 1998, I think, after WrestleMania 14 when he faced Stone Cold Steve Austin, but he still was showing up in between 1998 and 2002. He was a commissioner. He was a special guest referee. I don't think he was completely off of WWF TV at the time, right?
right.
Yeah. So he was showing up still on television, but I don't think a lot of people expected Shawn Michaels to actually come back and have this unbelievable second life as a wrestler in 2002. And 4 years basically passed, and a lot of people thought his back injury was career ending. And Shawn Michaels returned for an unsanctioned street fight against Triple H. And a lot of people think it's probably one of the best moments of SummerSlam history and also one of the best wrestling matches in SummerSlam history. I think that is tough to disagree with. So usually one-off nostalgia matches are a bit of a letdown because I mean we've had stuff like Crown Jewel with Brothers of Destruction versus DX. We've had some guys coming out of retirement to do some matches. Some are good or some are okay. Like WrestleMania 25, I think it was like Chris Jericho versus a bunch of WrestleMania legends. I think Mickey Rourke went in there and knocked him out. But like I thought that was a good use of wrestling legends. But you can't always say that when you have guys come back. But in this instance, I think this birthed a legendary second run for Shawn Michaels. But if it was a disaster, how do you feel like we would have looked at the legacy of the Ruthless Aggression era and Shawn Michaels? Like, what if it actually sucked?
Oh, it'd be a disappointment now, wouldn't
Yeah.
Still had a great first run.
it? Yeah, I mean, I feel it would damper his career a little bit because like he comes back, he has this back injury, then he comes back, and then like he had this amazing '90s run as WWF champion and all the DX. Thankfully, went the complete opposite. Some would argue that it was better than his '90s run, that 2000s, into the early 2010s kind of run. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I would agree. And Triple H, I mean, Triple H lost the match, but not too long after that, he did win the big gold belt right after this. Do you guys feel like Shawn Michaels should have won the world title sooner in his return run, or do you feel like the chase and the non-title feud with Triple H was a great way to reintroduce HBK?
They paced it right.
Yeah, because I mean, I feel like it's not like it was that far off from SummerSlam because I think he won the title at Survivor Series of that
Right.
year, and that was like what 3 months later, if not. I
Pretty
think
much.
I think that was like basically the right amount. I mean, he showed up before SummerSlam, didn't he? When did he show up in his NWO gear? Was that after?
Like April or May.
So that was before SummerSlam.
Yep. And then he got thrown through the glass. I
Yeah,
remember watching that. I remember watching the reveal. I remember being
yeah,
furious, dude.
Hmm.
Dude,
yeah,
oh my
man.
god, dude. I remember it. I remember when like I put my Triple H action figures away. Like, I was like, "Yep, you guys are retired for a little while."
I don't want to play with you
Yep.
anymore.
Either that
Double
or
it,
they'd
Andy.
start getting squashed, dude. Squash matches the rest of his life.
So what do you guys think? So Chris, you kind of said, you know, his second run might be a little better than his first. David, what do you think? How would you compare his second run to his first? Do you like the second one better?
My favorite match is on his second run,
Yeah,
and that's Taker. The first
that's what I was.
time.
Yeah, because I was gonna say like it's very hard because like I
Yeah.
feel like the Mr. WrestleMania. I mean, I guess you could say it started in his '90s run, but I feel like that moniker didn't become really solidified until his second run. I mean, you had Kurt Angle, Shawn
Yeah.
Michaels, 21. I mean, okay, say what you want, but Vince, Shawn Michaels in 22 was a wonderful car crash.
Right.
Shawn Michaels Cena was a great main event in 23.
Right.
Then he had Ric Flair versus Shawn Michaels, like literally, like, and then after that,
Michaels
Undertaker, and then
Jericho.
Undertaker again. So like 6 years. I mean, okay, even like 20, like the triple threat with Redacted and Triple H
Yeah.
for the title,
Jericho
like
in
that.
19.
Yeah, that was a banger. And then Jericho in 19, like that shit was crazy. Like he had like a one, like literally banger after banger after banger. Like none of those were bad matches.
Banger
It's kind of crazy
after
when you think
banger.
about it. Yeah, so I mean, I will say undoubtedly, I think his second run was better, and also like the crazy like Raw intro, like the timing of that Shelton Benjamin super kick off the top
Right.
row, fucking crazy. Or like I'm thinking about like the 40-minute match he had with Cena after WrestleMania. I mean, or Jericho '08, like the whole run there. I mean, endless stuff. Um, so we've been
I
kind
don't
of
know.
going, yeah, we've been kind of going over. So I don't know. Do you guys want to talk about Bulldog and Brett? I know we do a lot of Brett because otherwise I was going to jump into the Summer of Punk 2011.
That sounds like a guy Shawn Michaels beat.
Right.
uh, yeah, I mean, like I could touch on it a little bit. British Bulldog, uh, and 80,000 fans in London defeats Bret Hart in SummerSlam. Um, I mean, a crazy match, a masterclass in storytelling. A lot of people consider it to be one of the greatest SummerSlam main events of all time. I wasn't, I mean, I was alive, but I wasn't like conscious enough to watch it live. But I have watched it in my adulthood, and I will say it is pretty amazing. Um, I mean, as an international show, pretty amazing. I don't have too many thoughts about that. I mean, some people said that there were rumors that Bret Hart basically carried the whole match because Bulldog forgot the spots. I don't know if either of you can tell or if you remember, but you know, do you guys have any thoughts on this match?
My one thought is I have to rewatch it because forgettable. Nah, I mean,
I've never watched it as an intelligent fan.
Yeah.
that's a dirt take.
Yeah, I know
That's a
we're
good
gonna rewatch
match.
the
Nah.
SummerSlam, but I feel like, and again, I'm sure it's a wonderful match, but I feel like we've done a lot of Bret Hart matches and conversations. We may steer to a different SummerSlam, but I will say, from what I have watched, I think it is a great match. I think it's a great international like pay-per-view in general. I think it's one of their best. And I am very curious why WWE hasn't done like a giant stadium SummerSlam in the UK. Since then, I mean, they've done Clash in the Castle and Money in the Bank and stuff, but I would love to see a Big Four pay-per-view or WrestleMania or SummerSlam back at Wembley Stadium. So I think there's a lot of that. But we can wind down, and I do want to talk about because CM Punk, one of my favorites, is currently the WWE champion. I do want to talk about the Summer of Punk that started with Money in the Bank 2011 and kind of screeched to a halt in SummerSlam of 2011. So the match itself, I mean, CM Punk beat John Cena. We thought it was going to keep going. He beat John Cena to unify, his title, the real title, whatever you want to call it, his AEW put in a sack, real title. And then Kevin Nash returns. He click. He power bombs CM Punk. Alberto Del Rio comes out, cashes in his Money in the Bank, and then SummerSlam ends with Alberto Del Rio being the WWE champion. And I felt like it was such I don't know. It was such like there was so much more you could have done after that Money in the Bank. That Money in the Bank 2011 thing felt like it literally, for me in wrestling, it was the equivalent of a political revolution. Like that was how strongly I felt about them putting the title on CM Punk at Money in the Bank in Chicago. Like it was like
Staged a
the
coup.
The Vince booking, everything that has been going on since 2006
Being John
felt
Cena.
like it felt like we were experiencing a new era, and then we got Alberto Del Rio, and then it just kind of felt like it went a little back into Vince McMahon booking. And I will say that summer was one of the white hot peaks of that era of wrestling, with that detail of Kevin Nash coming back, Del Rio cashing in. Do you feel like that was a good move? Do you feel like they overbooked themselves and basically cooled down that whole pipe bomb movement?
Oh yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I feel like it killed some momentum. I mean, it killed a lot of momentum. I mean, he put up a brick wall like it's Fortnite or something. Hit that, bam, like. But because then they put the title back on him. But it's just like I feel like once you just like halt that, especially it was like a month later essentially, or whenever it would have been, because Money in the Bank was what,
I think it was
July or June?
July. Yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
July. So it was like a month later.
Yeah, like, what? It's not good. And I never liked Del
David-
Rio anyways.
Oh yeah, I think like a lot of people don't. David, did you watch that during that period, or were you just like peripherally watching during that time?
I kept up a little bit, and I just started thinking Kevin Nash is back.
Yes, right. I just remember. I always remember Punk's like promo with. He said Kevin Nash with the bottle of Just for Men, and then he was saying click clack, and that was the sound of people changing the channel. I do remember that promo specifically. But I don't know
I
if you
thought it
guys
was deflating. And then in
Yes,
hindsight, it's like, because then he would hold it till he went against The Rock,
right.
and think about how much better it would have sounded and looked like to the optics of long-term storytelling if it was like beats Cena, loses to Rock, quits.
Right. Like I don't know. I had a whole I was complaining a lot during that
Yeah.
time.
Like I remember watching that stuff like back when the WWE network dropped, and then I'm like, damn, like yeah, I'd walk out of that bitch too.
Yeah, I mean, like I would have had, if I was booking this, I would have had CM Punk obviously win the title at Money in the Bank, come back. There's the champ versus real champ, whatever. You beat John Cena. No shenanigans, no bullshit of like, like, oh, I had my leg under the rope or whatever the fuck they want to say when John Cena was getting pinned. And then have him hold it until WrestleMania 28. So I don't think John Cena versus The Rock needed the title. I think the once in a lifetime match was probably good enough.
Right.
So they could have just done that match like it's the marquee match, and then have CM Punk. Well, shit. I honestly would have. I just would have inserted him into that match as a triple threat, if I'm being honest. I understand Vince was like, they need the title. They need Punk losing, to The Rock and all that bullshit and stuff. Um, but yeah, I wouldn't have booked it that way. I mean, like, how do you guys feel about Triple H kind of injecting himself into that storyline right after the pay-per-view? Because he was basically best for business kind of corporate man around this time. And then I think Triple H faced Punk in Night of Champions, and then he beat Punk. I
It
don't
would have made
know.
sense if Triple H just lost.
Yeah. And wasn't there like a story point about like Kevin Nash returning and then he was like texting himself or some stupid bullshit like that? Like I did not understand some of the extra hoops that they jumped through. Um, but like going back to the SummerSlam match, do you feel like Del Rio was the right guy to cash in here? Like,
No, Del Rio, every time I seen him on
mm,
TV, especially
nah.
when he was in the main event, I'm like, get this motherfucker off my
It
TV.
felt like a wet blanket. Yeah. I mean like him or Jack Swagger. I thought like for Jack Swagger,
Hey,
which I think was also around this time, they gave him the World Heavyweight Championship, which I think it was at
that boy
at
got slapped.
SummerSlam. Yeah, and I guess if you guys aren't watching this on a video, we're referencing his Power Slap or whatever it's called tournament, where they slapped the IQ out of that guy. Like I think he was in a different dimension when he did it. I don't know if he's doing any other power slaps after that one.
I hope if his doctor cares, his doctor's gonna say no, bro.
Did you see the reaction of I guess Rhea Ripley and what's her man's name? Freaking
Buddy Matthews.
yeah,
Buddy
they were in the
Matthews.
crowd and he was just
They
like,
were?
Yeah,
That's funny. Were they friends with Jack Hager?
probably.
That's funny. I gotta rewatch that clip. He turned into Homer Simpson and like oh man. But yeah, I don't think like Del Rio, I feel like yeah, I thought okay, like if you introduce anybody besides John Cena, I thought it was a breath of fresh air, but it didn't work for me. Same thing with Jack Swagger or anybody around that time. It just felt like just the way that Vince McMahon was building up people. No one had the gravity besides like a Daniel Bryan, which they were actively trying to stop from happening, was like main event material. People that actually wanted to see CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, those were the people they wanted to see during that time. This is like the era of like we're watching Ring of Honor, we're watching TNA, we're watching like New Japan. Look at all this shit people are doing, and we're not getting this in WWE. Like people would clip a New Japan match, and then they would clip Randy Orton putting someone in a headlock, and that'd be like the meme. You know what I mean? Like that was like this kind of era. So yeah, Del Rio was not the person who I first of all CM Punk shouldn't have lost it in SummerSlam. It was an important moment because at least he beat Cena, but it was a bit of a wet blanket as a SummerSlam moment. But hopefully this SummerSlam, I mean, I gotta say, like if we want to like look a little bit into the future, I know people are complaining about like attendance records and that kind of stuff, but this match card looks pretty good. I gotta say, like it's a good lineup. You got CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes. You got Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. You got Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar in a Hell in a Cell. You got Io Sky versus Liv Morgan. I mean, that's a good lineup of matches. Do you guys feel differently? Like, how do you feel about this upcoming SummerSlam?
it's definitely one of
Looking
the stronger
good.
cards they've had in a while.
Yeah, I mean, I would love for them to like fill out the whole arena. I don't know. I feel like it has to be also just part of like inflation and people just don't have money to go to this shit. And you are charging people an arm and a leg to watch a show, you know. But like, you have a great match card. I just wish you, you know, made it more affordable for people to go see it, you know. But yeah, I think we're all excited. But that's a wrap for this episode of the Chi-Town Shoot podcast. Yeah, that's our spinoff. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, rate us, and leave your feedback. Tune in next time for more Wrestling Madness. Until then, keep marking out.